Stranger Things is a show that gets stranger every season, and so do the death scenes. Specifically, one iconic death that was supposed to go a lot different than what actually happened. In this video, we're gonna look at what exactly was supposed to happen instead. Let's get into it. First up, possessed Will could have been way worse. In the second season of Stranger Things, the Mind Flayer starts stalking Will by showing up in all his visions. Well, it wasn't just stalking him. Vecna was literally attaching a part of himself to Will. This way, he was able to make a link between his body and Will's body, completely possessing him. Vecna was able to spy on Hawkins like this, and it wasn't like anyone would suspect poor and innocent Will. Fortunately, Will wasn't able to do too much damage before his friends managed to save him from the Mind Flayer. But recently, it was revealed that after being possessed, he was actually supposed to kill Bob. This would have probably messed Will up forever and changed his storyline drastically. Bob was the one who gave Will the advice of facing Vecna after he kept terrorizing him, only to get possessed by him. Even though Bob was shown to be a strong fatherly figure to Will, he would eventually be killed by him. Fortunately, that didn't happen. While Bob still died, it was a more honorable death than being killed by his girlfriend's son. He sacrificed himself in the second season to save Joyce and the kids. This would have changed his relationships with everyone. Even though Will wouldn't actually be the one that killed Bob, it would still be his body that would commit the crime. If he really did kill him in season 2, then things would have been a lot different for Will. Joyce's pain over losing Bob would have been way worse if it was her own son who killed him, even if he was being controlled by a completely different entity. Killing Bob would have produced a major divide between Will and his family, which would have probably spread across the whole group. Though most of them would probably understand that Bob's death was the fault of the Mind Flayer, it still would have been tough for them to ignore Will's involvement in the situation. With the revelation that his brother is a killer, Jonathan's connection with Nancy might have also changed. Not only that, but it would also have changed its whole character arc. While Will's plot was much shorter in season 3, his character took a big step forward in season 4 with the addition of Will's sexual discovery and his developing friendships with Eleven, Mike, and his brother Jonathan. If Will had murdered Bob during season 2, these more intimate parts of his character development would have been overlooked in favor of more dramatic and dark moments, focusing on everyone's shared mourning. Will would have remained a toy of the Upside Down rather than a fully developed character in his own right. What would have made things even worse is that he would have probably gotten arrested for this too, especially since the town knows nothing about the Upside Down, Vecna, or any supernatural stuff. This would have stopped Will from being able to go on any adventures with his group. There's been a lot of talk about Will getting psychic abilities that will play a pretty big role in Stranger Things season 5, especially because he still has a link to the Upside Down and Vecna. Assuming Will continued to be a part of the Hawkins group even after murdering Bob, the group probably wouldn't trust any information Will offered. This is because they'd be more careful in case he gets possessed by Vecna again. On top of that, they probably also wouldn't let Will use any of his potential powers in the 5th season in fear of his link to Vecna, and we would never get to see any of his abilities or his full potential that way. Here's why it's actually good the writers changed the original story. Will hasn't had it easy to say the very least, especially not in the first few seasons of Stranger Things. He was literally in prison to the Upside Down for basically the whole first season. We didn't really get to know him that well until the 3rd season, since he was possessed by Vecna throughout the 2nd season. Now, he's one of the most liked characters and even a fan favorite, but it probably would have gone the complete opposite direction if he did end up killing Bob. The sadness felt by both characters and fans alike over Bob's murder would have probably been pushed to the limit and centered only on Will's part, so it's a good thing the writers took a different approach. Stranger Things season 5 is expected to further develop Will, giving light on his personal discoveries and wrapping up any loose ends in his storyline. With Stranger Things creators the Duffer Brothers promising that no new characters will be introduced in season 5, there'll be plenty of opportunities to focus only on the existing cast. If that's the case, then Will should help in bringing Vecna down. Also, is there any chance for Eddie's return? Even though Eddie was just introduced into the 4th season, fans basically adored him from the beginning. He fit right into the Hawkins group, and no one expected his time in the show to be over so quickly. Fans were absolutely heartbroken when Eddie died at the end of season 4. Ever since then, viewers have been basically demanding he be brought back into the next season. The situation got so big that even the executive producer Levy of Stranger Things heard of it. He was asked if Eddie would return in the next season, even if it was through a flashback, and let's just say he didn't give the answer fans really wanted. According to him, the chances of Eddie coming back are highly unlikely. Despite this, some fans still have hope that he'll come back. There's one theory specifically that's been getting a lot of attention. Coming up, what's the Koss theory? Vecna is killed by Koss, the Bloody-Handed, in every form in D&D. Vecna chose Koss to be his royal right-hand man, even giving him a powerful magical weapon called the Sword of Koss. Koss eventually turns against Vecna and tries to kill him with the same sword and a spiked shield, but fails and goes into another reality. Koss is transformed into the vampire ruler Koss the Destroyer before fleeing and attempting to confront Vecna once more. Many hints from Stranger Things season 4 might support Eddie's resurrection as a Koss-like entity. First, Eleven displayed her new ability to resurrect somebody by bringing Max Mayfield back from the grave. Assuming Vecna's abilities are comparable, he might also be able to revive someone like that. Eddie holds up the Iron Maiden cassette Peace of Mind, which shows the group's mascot, a revived zombie-like character also called Eddie. In the episode Episode Chapter 8 Papa. Eddie performs the song Master of Puppets during his epic guitar solo, suggesting that he might return as Vecna's puppet, similar to how Koss served Vecna in D&D. This is confirmed by Eddie's right forearm tattoo of a puppet master. There are also some similarities between Koss and Eddie. Both of them use a sword and a spiked shield as weapons and are linked to bats. Eddie was slain by demo bats and had a large bat tattoo, but Koss was a vampire, which was said to be because of bat bites. Eddie also has a demon tattoo on his chest, which might allude to his reincarnation as a demon or undead entity. In D&D, Koss is banished to a realm that contains dark flakes of ash identical to those used by Vecna to create the Mind Flayer in the Upside Down, where actually Eddie died. While this idea appears to be reasonable, it still has some loose ends. Dustin also wields a sword and a spiked shield, and Eddie's sword isn't very noteworthy. His actual weapon is his guitar, or axe, which he uses to divert the demo bats from the Creel residence, leaving Vecna defenseless to Eddie's allies' attack. Steve Harrington was also bitten by the demo bats. However, he probably won't return as a vampire next season. Also, if Eddie were ever to come back, it wouldn't be the same Eddie we know and love. But as an evil puppet controlled by Vecna, this might ruin his character's journey and discredit his sacrifice in Season 4. Though Eddie might return in a flashback or vision-like scene, it looks like Eleven has already established herself as the show's Koss-inspired character. Finally, could Eleven take Koss's role in the next season? Although she didn't kill Vecna in Season 4, Eleven keeps growing her power, specifically by channeling the love of friends and family, something Vecna has never really grasped. It also makes more sense for Stranger Things protagonist and longtime hero Eleven to be the one who eventually kills Vecna, given her superhuman skills and their long-standing bond. Koss's second attack on Vecna's life ended in the annihilation of both characters in D&D Legend. Their second encounter not only mirrors the predicted Season 5 rematch between Eleven and Vecna, but it may also imply that Eleven may die. That's a wrap for today's video. Did you think Bob would have died any other way? Make sure to let us know in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button for more videos like this one. We'll see you next time.